Hello and welcome back to Talon 101. This time we're going to look at generics, and the first generic we're going to look at is while standing 1. This left uppercut from crouching has remained with Hwoarang ever since he debuted in Tekken 3. And other characters used to have this, so it was kind of like a placeholder move until it got replaced. So Hwoarang's while standing 1 is yet to be replaced. Perhaps in Season 2 it would, and when it does get added, you'll probably see it in the command list. Right now, you will not find it in the command list at all. So this move is old, ancient, right? Tekken 3. But even then, we must review its frame data. And it comes out at 10 to 11 frames. Of course, when it collides with the opponent, sometimes it'll come out at 10, sometimes it'll come out at 11. Same thing with the frames on hit. It's generally +7 to +8, but on block, this is -3 on block, and that's pretty good frames to have. And it'll always bring Hwoarang back to left foot forward. So it sounds like a very generic move, just like DF1. So where are the negatives or positives to this very generic move? Well, number one is a very small hitbox. You see how it phases through sometimes through Asuka's big hands, and it just doesn't hit. There are times it hits, sometimes it doesn't. So very, very small hitbox, even on hit. So like if we tell Asuka to backdash, and I'm gonna do while standing 1 after a down jab on hit, which is like +6. There you go, +6. I'm gonna do while standing 1. Doesn't even catch. So that's how small the hitbox of while standing 1 is. Now, it is +7 to +8. Really good frames to have, but again, you have to watch out for backdash, because if an opponent backdashes here on hit, your move can whiff. Like so. If not DF1 whiffing there, DF2 whiffing there. And it will just get worse if your opponent's backdash is good, which would remove moves like F1+2. That wouldn't hit against a really good backdash, which means you're now stuck with moves like DF3+4, or you stay with moves like DF4. Now, if you do get a move that puts Hwoarang at an advantage while he is in crouching, like let's say a down jab, the while standing 1, well, it tracks. I want to say tracks in quotation marks, but that's only if it hits. Again, in lieu of the small hitbox of while standing 1, it can catch against sidestep. The word is can, so that gets against sidestep left, against sidestep right, not even catching. Of course, if I position myself in terms of the axis to prevent Asuka from sidestepping towards the right, then yeah, while standing 1 would hit. So it would track if it hits at +6. But while it can catch sidestep, it will never catch sidewalk. Like never. You should never bet on this catching sidewalk at all. Like it typically always loses to this. Another interesting tidbit about while standing 1 is the frames on trade. So if you do get hit by something that puts you in forced crouch, you could trade with an opponent's move, and you see how you go back to 0 after that trade with Asuka's 12 frame mid in DF4. Just to repeat that again, that's not bad. And that basically is the same as throwing out FC1, except the damage is different. You see how that's just a pixel you give to Asuka, and with while standing 1, you give a chunk. So it's just like, oh, okay, I could trade with the opponent, not with a special low in, your down jab in FC1, but you could trade with them with while standing 1, and it was coming out at 10 frames there, compared to earlier where it was coming out at 11 frames. Same thing if you trade with a DF1. So you have to get hit by the heat burst first, so that's gonna put you in a crouched position. There you go. 0 again on trade against a DF1. So it's not. So it's something you could press if you didn't want to press a down jab. On block, as I mentioned earlier, you can move around a lot. So that's probably it's going to be its main use, rather it being on hit, because the most you'll get is probably a DF4, and then you can't usually follow up with it as a while standing 1. It's only something you're going to be throwing out when you're mashing. But on block, it's not bad, because number 1, it joins the punch parry crew, because it's at the exact frames you need to activate this punch parry. So if you wave into while standing 1, and your opponent does decide to mid-check you, you can get them. Or you can do while standing 1, sidestep, depending on where the opponent's moves track, then you can just punish them for it. Or even backdash. So it's pretty handy poke. And you can still throw out like evasive moves. So like back 1 will still come here against Asuka's DF1. Back 2 will not. But you can also still power crush at -3. So I can return back to neutral, even if that's -9. So it just has a lot more uses. I mean, yeah, because it's, again, it kind of just looks like DF1. Pretty much acts like a DF1 as well. It's just missing its extension. So maybe that's what's gonna come out in Season 2. But if not, generally speaking, this is just a poke. A very, very safe poke. And a 10-frame mid with an asterisk when it wants to be a 10-frame mid. So yeah, that's the ancient relic of While Standing 1. Don't know what else to call it because it doesn't have a move name. That's everything I know about it. So again, I've been Frontier, and thank you for watching.